Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh will take part in the SCO Defence Ministers Meet being held at Tashkent in Uzbekistan. He will hold bilateral meeting with Uzbekistan's Defence Minister Lieutenant General Nizamovich and also interact with the Indian community. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar on his visit to the South American region addresses business gathering at the Industrial Union of Paraguay, says trade and investment will be the focus of our bilateral activities and invites Paraguayan business to explore opportunities in India. Germany seeks alternative source of energy to help replace Russian gas imports. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz meets Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in Montreal. Scholz and Trudeau are set to sign a deal for Canada to supply hydrogen to Germany. At least 20 people killed in flash floods in Central Afghanistan, with heavy rain destroying thousands of homes and damaging agricultural land. Taliban government calls for assistance from international community. Met Department issues an alert for heavy rainfall in Madhya Pradesh. Heavy rain disrupts power in many areas of the state. Schools closed in several districts. Incessant rains cause major loss to life and property in many parts of Himachal Pradesh. Rains also lashed parts of Rajasthan. In cricket, India beat Zimbabwe by 13 runs in the third ODI for series sweep. Chasing a target of 290, Zimbabwe batsman could only reach 276. For his stupendous knock of 130, Shubman Gill adjudged the player of the match. Good morning and namaskar. You're watching the news on DD India. I'm Samriddhi Goyal. First up, our top story. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will travel to Uzbekistan today to take part in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meet being held at Tashkent. Now, this follows the 17th meeting of Security Council secretaries of the SCO member states held last week. During his 3-day visit, Rajnath Singh will be holding a bilateral meeting with Uzbekistan's Defence Minister, Lieutenant General Nizamovich, and also interact with the Indian community. The SCO meet is a precursor to the SCO summit scheduled for next month, which is likely to be attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The summit is scheduled for September 15th and 16th in Samarkand. The SCO meeting is expected to deliberate on regional security challenges, including the situation in Ukraine and Afghanistan. The SCO is an influential economic and security bloc and has emerged as one of the largest trans-regional international organizations. India has shown keen interest in deepening its security-related cooperation with the SCO and its regional anti-terrorism structure, which specifically deals with issues relating to security and defense. Now, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar on Monday stressed that trade and investment will be the focus of the bilateral activities between India and Paraguay. Addressing a business gathering at the Industrial Union of Paraguay, the minister said that the establishment of resident Indian embassy will spur an expansion of our economic engagement. Paraguay Minister of Commerce and Industry Luis Alberto Castiglione also joined Dr. Jaishankar at the event. Jaishankar invited Paraguayan business to explore opportunities in India while expressing confidence that Indian businesses will be equally active in Paraguay. Earlier, the External Affairs Minister met President of Paraguay, MARITO ABDO. Conveying the personal greetings of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Dr. Jaishankar appreciated President ABDO's guidance on further advancing our bilateral relationship and global partnership. Earlier in Paraguay, Dr. Jaishankar was also warmly welcomed by his Paraguayan counterpart Julio Cesar Arriola in ASUNCION. Both the leaders held productive talks during which The External Affairs Minister stressed that the establishment of a resident Indian embassy will take the ties to a higher level. The two sides discussed expanding trade and investment, growing development partnership, increasing exchanges and training and strengthening our political cooperation. Dr. Jaishankar asserted that Paraguay has been a steadfast partner at multilateral forums. He said that our shared commitment to a rules-based order and to democratic values will continue motivating us to work closely. Dr. Jaishankar earlier began his day by paying homage at the National Pantheon of Heroes, and he recognized the sacrifices of those who have served this country. Shifting focus now to Germany, that has bid its transition to green sources of energy to replace Russian gas imports. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is set to sign historic hydrogen supply deal with Canada. The German Chancellor, who is on a two-day visit to Canada, met the country's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Monday, and the two leaders said Russia's conflict with Ukraine is bringing Canada and Germany closer together, with Canada seeking to boost energy and critical mineral exports to Germany. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that the country is exploring ways to see if there is a business case to export liquefied natural gas directly to Europe from its east coast, while German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said that Russia is no longer a reliable partner. He also reaffirmed the commitment to contribute to the global supply of energy by increasing capacities in the short term.
Situation in the short term, where we will do what we can to contribute to the global supply of energy by increasing our capacities in the short term, and explore ways to see if it makes sense to export LNG, and if there's a business case for it, to export LNG directly to Europe. And that's something that economic conversations are going on between businesses in Canada and in Germany. But in the medium term and long term, Canada can and will position itself to be a key supplier of energy to the world in a net zero economy.
Russia, of course, is trying to drive a wedge into the international community and those who have joined ranks to support Ukraine. And so I would like to expressly thank Canada for making it possible to overhaul and return the turbine to Germany. It's now in Germany. It's ready to be used, and this decision was an important one because it debunked Putin's game. His strategy was to divide partners and allies and to divide us in our support for Ukraine. But we were able to show that Russia is no longer a reliable business partner. It has reduced gas supply to all of Europe, always, allegedly because of technical problems that do not exist. So it's important that we do not fall into Putin's trap and that we stand together.
Well, updates now on the killing of Darya Dugin. Ukraine has dismissed the Russian claims of Kiev being responsible for the killing of Darya Dugin, the daughter of Russian President Vladimir Putin's key aide. Ukraine's Azov regiment has denied the claims that it killed the daughter of the Russian ultra-nationalist Alexander Dugin.
They are linking Azov battalion to this for a reason. I won't be surprised if tomorrow testimonies beaten out during interrogations come out from my friends. Testimonies signed under the tortures that they know this woman whose surname is Wawok or other things. They will try to imitate the court proceedings for the public. But if you have critical thinking skills, just imagine that they already know the conclusion. They want to come to and will try to add facts of low quality to get to that conclusion.
Meanwhile, in Moscow, flowers were laid and candles lit on Monday in a makeshift memorial for Darya Dugin. Dugin was killed last week when a bomb blew up the Toyota Land Cruiser she was driving near Moscow. She is the daughter of the Russian ultra-nationalist Alexander Dugin. Alexander has long been an advocate of united Russia. The European Union Foreign Policy Chief says he hopes for US response as early as this week to an European Union proposal on the Iran nuclear deal, adding that answer from Iran to European Union proposal on nuclear deal was reasonable. Proposal follows 16 months of indirect US-Iranian talks with the EU. Iran and 6 major world powers had reached a historic deal in 2015, lifting sanctions imposed by the United States, the European Union and United Nations in return for Iran agreeing to a long-term curbs on its nuclear program. However, the then US President Donald Trump pulled the United States out of the agreement and said he would reimpose economic sanctions on Tehran. The European Union Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell said on Monday that a response from Iran to the European Union's latest proposal on a nuclear deal with the US was reasonable. Borrell was referring to a response sent last week by Iran to the latest proposal of the European Union for updating a 2015 nuclear deal with Tehran after 16 months of indirect US-Iranian talks.
There was a proposal from me as the coordinator of the negotiations, and a response from Iran that I considered reasonable. It was transmitted to the United States, which has not yet responded formally.
On August 15, United States State Department had said that Iran must abandon extraneous demands if it is to reach a nuclear deal. State Department spokesperson Ned Price told a briefing that US will provide its views on the European Union's final draft to save a 2015 nuclear deal privately and directly to the bloc's High Representative Josep Borrell.
We will do that with the unity that we have been able to restore over the course of the past 18 months or so. With our European allies, with other partners around the world, and with the broad international consensus we've managed to forge regarding the need to deal with Iran's nuclear provocations.
Iran's foreign policy on Monday said that the United States had not yet responded to the proposals of the European side in indirect talks aimed at reinstating Tehran's 2015 nuclear deal. Foreign Ministry spokesperson also said relatively good progress was made.
The American government has not yet responded to the proposals of the European side. In general, I can say that we have made relatively good progress so far. We cannot say that we have reached a nuclear agreement until all issues are agreed upon.
On Sunday, White House said that President Biden spoke with President Emmanuel Macron of France, Chancellor Olaf Scholz of Germany and Prime Minister Boris Johnson of United Kingdom. The leaders discussed the situation at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. They also discussed ongoing negotiations over Iran's nuclear program, the need to strengthen support for partners in the Middle East region, and joint efforts to deter and constrain Iran's destabilizing regional activities. Iran and 6 major world powers had reached a historic deal on July 14, 2015, lifting sanctions imposed by the United States, European Union and United Nations in return for Iran agreeing to long-term curbs on its nuclear program. However, then United States President Donald Trump pulled the United States out of the agreement and said he would reimpose economic sanctions on Tehran immediately. On August 4th this year, the indirect talks between Tehran and Washington had resumed in Vienna with a meeting between Iran's chief nuclear negotiator and the European Union's Enrique Mora, who coordinates the talks aimed at salvaging a 2015 nuclear deal. The European Union's foreign policy chief Josep Borrell had warned there is no room left for further major compromises. DD India. Now, former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan criticized what he said was the absence of the rule of law in the country. Imran Khan's supporters gathered in front of Imran Khan's house to prevent the police from taking him into custody on anti-terrorism charges stemming from a weekend televised speech. In his speech, Khan named the police chief and the judge involved in the case against his aide, saying he was going to sue them. Police filed charges against Khan over what he said was a threat in the speech in which he spoke about police torture of an aide who faces sedition charges for inciting mutiny in the military. Police cited that comment in a report saying the purpose of the speech was to spread terror amongst the police and the judiciary and prevent them from doing their duty. According to Khan's attorney, Babar Rawan, court granted Khan 3 days of pre-arrest bail later in the day, after which the demonstrators started to disperse. Now, Brazil's presidential frontrunner Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva said on Monday that his country does not need to cut a single tree to plant more soybeans, sugarcane or raise cattle, as Silva has vowed to restore law enforcement in the Amazon rainforest to curb deforestation. While talking to the news agency, he also said that with foreign collaboration, keeping a tree standing in the Amazon could be worth more than any other investments. Meanwhile, Silva's remarks came as a news agency reported last week that advisors to the leftist former president were proposing subsidized green farm loans to spur planting of soybeans and corn on open pasture and reduce deforestation in the Amazon. Well, shifting focus now to Afghanistan, where in the latest update, Afghanistan has been hit by flash floods. The natural calamity has now left 20 dead over the last 48 hours. According to officials on Monday, heavy rain has also destroyed thousands of homes and has damaged agricultural land. Meanwhile, the Taliban government, which took over the country last August, has struggled to cope with the disaster and has called for assistance, whereas the country has been reeling from natural disasters this year, including a drought and a massive earthquake that killed over 1,000 people in June. Well, time for us to slip into a very short break. We'll be back with more on the other side. Stay with us.
Changing world of news. Headlines that you wake up to. News that shapes your day. Stories that matter to you. The latest and most accurate updates. A fresh start to a new day. The Breakfast News, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. on DD India.
Welcome back. Updates now from the United States of America, where heavy rain has flooded the areas in Texas on Monday, submerging roads and entire neighborhoods, trapping some residents in their swamped vehicles and homes. Meanwhile, Dallas metropolitan area of Texas have already prompted evacuations on Monday due to the flooding caused by heavy downpour. Whereas in Balk Springs to the east of Dallas, firefighters rescued families from flooded homes surrounded both by standing water and swift currents. On the other hand, Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins has declared a state of disaster in Dallas County, triggering a request for state and federal assistance on Monday. The National Weather Service have also issued a flood watch and warned of further showers and thunderstorms until at least Wednesday. Now, in a recent update on the 10 miners who were trapped in a flooded coal mine 19 days ago in Mexico, hit another setback as groundwater levels have now surged higher. Informing more on the matter, Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador in a press conference said that another sinkhole from a neighboring flooded mine had opened up, causing water levels to rise again. The surge came from the nearby Conques Norte mine, which was closed due to flooding in 1996. Meanwhile, engineers are pumping water out of Pinabet while working on sealing off the nearby Conques Norte mine, where water that has accumulated for more than 25 years is now rushing into Pinabet due to the underground tunnel collapse. The miners became confined underground at the Pinabet mine in the border state of Coahuila on August 3rd when their excavation work led a tunnel wall to collapse and unleashed flooding. Looking at the COVID numbers now, globally COVID-19 cases have crossed 60 crore. The number of recoveries from the disease stand above 57 crore, 58 lakh, while the virus has claimed 64 lakh 73,000 lives worldwide. The United States continues to remain the worst affected by registering the highest number of COVID-19 cases in the world. The country's COVID cases tally remains above 9 crore 54 lakh, whereas the number of fatalities from the disease have been logged as above 10 lakh 65,000. And now looking at Europe, where France recorded the maximum number of cases by reporting more than 3 crore 43 lakh cases, whereas Germany and UK stand second and third in the list. Germany has reported over 3 crore 18 lakh and UK recorded over 2 crore 34 lakh COVID-19 cases so far. They are followed by Italy, which has reported above 2 crore 16 lakh cases of the disease. New York, the epicenter of monkeypox outbreak in the United States, announced that it will switch up its vaccination method in an effort to get more people protected. More than 90% of all cases in the US have been identified in New York City, and the biggest challenge with combating the virus has been a shortage of vaccination doses. At a briefing, New York State Health Commissioner Dr. Mary Bassett announced a change to the way the state administers the monkeypox vaccine. US Food and Drug Administration authorized injecting a monkeypox vaccine intradermally in adults, meaning between the layers of the skin rather than below the skin, in an effort to stretch out low vaccine supplies. While Spain and Britain have also approved the use of smaller doses of the monkeypox vaccine following the European Medicines Agency decision last week to allow dose sparing. And now some sports updates. First starting with cricket, where India beat Zimbabwe by 13 runs in the third ODI to complete a 3-0 series sweep at Harare on Monday. Shubman Gill struck a stroke-filled century to power India to 289 for 8. In response, Zimbabwe's innings ended at 276 in 49.3 overs thanks to Sikandar Raza's brilliant 95 ball 115. Earlier, coming into bat at number 3, Gill smashed 130 off 97 balls with the help of 15 boundaries and 1 6 after India opted to bat. Besides Gill, Ishan Kishan made 50 while Shikhar Dhawan scored a 40. Brad Evans picked up his maiden 5-wicket haul for the home team. Now, the Indian women duo of Gayatri Gopichand and Trisha Jolly entered the second round of the BWF World Championships underway in Tokyo. The duo defeated Malaysian pair of Loh Yin Wan and Valerie Seo 21-11, 21-13 in the round of 64. Manchester United produced an outstanding display to defeat Liverpool and give manager Erik ten Hag his first Premier League victory at the thunderous Old Trafford. Ten Hag took the bold decision to drop captain Harry Maguire and Cristiano Ronaldo and was rewarded with a performance that lifted the mood of crisis around Manchester United and leave Liverpool still searching for a first win of the season. Jadon Sancho showed superb control and composure to deservedly put United in front after 16 minutes before Marcus Rashford raced clear to beat Alisson from substitute Anthony Martial's pass 8 minutes after the interval. Mo Salah set up a tense finish when he scrambled in a header with 9 minutes left, but United survived to give Ten Hag just the sort of triumph he needs to make his mark at Old Trafford. And that's it in this news bulletin. News continues on DD India. Do stay tuned in for the latest news updates. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.